Welcome back to the Blissful Athlete, everybody. Yes, happy Halloween, I should say first, and really describe why and tell you why I'm looking the way I am. It is Halloween here in Los Angeles, and I thought, why not dress up as Paramashiva himself? After all, I am him. Why not embody him to my fullest ability and enrich people on this day? Today we didn't want to give out candy to everybody actually, and so what I did was I went to the bank and I got $100 worth of change. And so when the kids came, I would just shower them with the wealth of Lakshmi. And Prasida, my wife, she was Parvati and I was Shiva, and we had a little teddy bear Ganesha at the front door, and we would just wait for people and shower them with wealth, with Lakshmi, and give them darshan. So it was an awesome opportunity for us to actually enrich people and share Sanatana Hindu Dharma in a beautiful way. And I thought, obviously, what Swamiji said today in today's satsang, whether you watched it or not, you know, his very first statement was, "I'm not bothered about trolls, abusers, character assassinations." He's not bothered about any of that. And I feel the same way. I'm not bothered at all with proudly stating that I'm Hindu and carrying myself as a Hindu. And Swamiji beautifully said today that people are good. They're fundamentally good. And when you have that understanding, that cognition, it is the foundation for extreme love. And really, I had that experience today when people were coming to our door with their children. You get to meet people that you don't normally meet on a day-to-day basis. You get to engage with them and connect with them. And it was truly, it was nice to see this love that we can have with other individuals that you don't normally get to experience on a daily basis. I mean, normally we kind of go throughout our own life and get caught up in things. And so it was nice to engage with strangers and understand that people are fundamentally good. And so it was a lovely evening. We shut the doors down because satsang started, but I did not have time to get out of my costume. But so I'm giving you all darshan, blessings to you all. Today we got another great Vakyartha Sadhas that we're going to speak on. I have Ashutoshananda and Yanatmananda with us right now. I'll bring them in, and what we're going to be talking about is feeling the now. Remember, Swamiji's talking about Kala now, diving into the now, and really to manifest the power of Kala, he's given 3 powerful techniques, which is one, Kaya Kappa Yoga, which is 21-month program in India. Another is Pavirajaka, where you're going to be walking throughout the length and breadth of India. And then the third is making your bedroom Kailaasa. So if you have a husband or a wife, making sure that you never argue with them in your bedroom. That space itself is Kailaasa, and holding that space. And so we're going to dive a little bit into that. And so without further ado, I'll bring in Ashutoshananda and Yanatmananda. Welcome, my good friends. How are you both doing today?
Yes, Nithyananda.
Great, thank you. Awesome.
Very good,
awesome.
Very good.
So I see that I was the only one that dressed up for Halloween, which is, you guys are looking good as always, though. I got my Jettas tied on top today, though, just like you guys. So at least I'm doing something right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get a little bit serious, though. Ashutosha, would you maybe like to lead us this evening into the Vakyartha Sadhas with our prayer, and we can dive into things?
Yes. So close your eyes, bring your awareness to your inner space, to your Anandagandha, or your third eye. We're going to start with the Satguru Vandanam, invoking the grace of the Guru. Om Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasya Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you, Ashutosh. I'm not sure if we spoke a little bit before, off camera, before we went live, but I can't remember exactly where we wanted to jump off. Do you recall where we were thinking
Well,
about starting?
I got a message from one of other Sangha member, and he basically sent me the Vahkyartha Sadhas title, and it is "Now is not based on time, then what is it?" From Veda Swarupa Ananda. So I thought that's something we can start with. Now is not based on time. All I can bring back from the satsang is Swamiji said, "Now is not time." That's pretty much pretty straightforward. So the first thing that I started to cognize is that, okay, so time has nothing to do with the present, with that experience of the now. So yeah,
he's saying past can be completely changed, altered, transformed, deleted, and made to disappear. And whether that's the past, so the past,
it's intense.
Yeah, the past can be completely changed in any way that we want. Fully deleted or half deleted, he said. And ultimately, it's really up to us to rewrite the past. And he was saying, like, you may not understand or believe, but it is possible to change the past. And I think, obviously, with how our discussions and talks have been the past few days, again, starting off from zooming out, I feel like, yeah, if we can cognize that the Big Bang is all laid out in front of us, you can pick and choose really what parts rise and fall, and it's all happening. We could just pull it all down at the same time, this one big curtain. So I can cognize that to a certain extent, but in this reality where, we're living this day-to-day life, that is kind of hard to internalize for me. And so just to quickly plug for anybody else that's just signed in, yesterday Swamiji said, just spend 10 minutes internalizing this, that now is not time, that we can go beyond time and actually change our past. Logically, this is tough for us to grasp, but when we meditate and contemplate on this, we start to develop the subtle brain grooves that help us to manifest these powerful cognitions and manifest the powers of Power of Shiva. And so just spend 10 minutes with us at least today and contemplate and join this discussion with us as we move forward. Yanatma, do you have any takeaway from being able to rewrite your past, to go back and completely change your past?
Yeah, exactly. So just from the Master Tosho sharing the topic sentence as that now is not time. Is that what it is?
Yeah, now is not based on time.
Yeah. So yeah, what I understood was that now is a powerful cognition.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we said,
I have to look at that.
He said the past, which you think is over, gone, that can be changed and transformed. So that's a powerful cognition for sure. Like how often do we live our lives where we regret things that we've done, or just maybe wish we did something different with our decisions in general, and we feel like we now have to live out this karma of that action or that decision. But in actuality, we don't have to succumb to that belief that, I have to feel the wrath of that past decision. And so without a doubt, to have the cognition that, no, I can go back and change this this action and thus change my future and not live in this. And some people might live in a mental hell based off of these past actions. Then what 100% it is a powerful cognition. So I did that more for myself just now, just to build up this understanding that, yeah, it's a powerful cognition to be able to change your past. Now, the question is obviously, how do you do that? But the key basis there would be understanding that now isn't involved, like time and now, they aren't correlated. They're completely separated.
I think so.
Yeah.
What is kind of clicking with me is there's two things that are coming up. One is the technique of dropping it at Guru's feet, right? For instance, as whenever you have of instant completion, you just drop it. If you drop something in the now, see how we see our past and how we project our future depends on the cognitions we decide to cherish now. So I feel rewriting the past is just having a cognitive shift now. If you have a cognitive shift now, if you decide to just drop it, for instance, at the master's feet, whatever incompletion, if you have any form of guilt or something, and you just drop it and you have that cognitive shift, then because I feel in that time, the time is again that linear thing, right? Past, present, future. But past and future is not real. I mean, it's not I don't know how to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm feeling, is that if now is not time, now is a powerful cognition. So there's something to do with somehow having whatever a powerful cognition is.
I think something that at the end of the satsang Swamiji was revealing that you mentioned in the beginning, Nithyananda, was if you have the fundamental, there's three things that can kind of correlate with that powerful cognition of now. One is the people are fundamentally good. If that is your cognition, there's one thing that really hit me in one of the past discourses that Swamiji shared with us all, and it was that the main difference between enlightenment and non-enlightenment is anxiety about the future. And he was sharing that in his inner space, there is no projection in the future because there's no anxiety about the future. But when we are not in that space of now, of that powerful cognition of now, there is a form of anxiety of the future, which makes us project ourselves in the future. And then this whole thing of past and future becomes relevant from there on. As long as you are in the now, the past and future, it doesn't have a real impact on you. It's just the cognition you have and how you engage with the now. And then Swamiji was saying he has no anxiety about the future. So I can tell for myself, in many situations, if I had I didn't know how, I knew I had to engage with something or someone. And at the idea of engaging with that person or that situation, I had some form of anxiety. So right away, even though right now I'm not experiencing that, I'm already projecting myself in that situation and see, how am I going to engage with that? But that whole thing is delusional. It's not real. Because of the anxiety that I have about the future, I project myself there, I create a future, and I play with it. And then at some point, when the moment comes, if it comes, because sometimes it never comes, if it comes, most of the time, that experience is not at all how I visualized it. So in the whole process, this anxiety that I cherished at some point, because I did not experience the now at that moment, and I decided to cherish this anxiety, and I went and I projected myself in the future, I missed the whole thing. Because not only I was not in the now at that time, but even when that situation came, that situation was not at all what I what I felt or what I projected, and every conclusion, everything that I created about that were completely irrelevant. So I basically wasted everything. In the whole process, this whole moment was just wasted because I was not experiencing the now. I was just caught in my own projections. And I feel past is that also. If you start to project yourself either in the past or in the future, automatically the other one comes. When you start to project yourself in the future, then automatically there's a cognition of past. And when you project yourself in the past or remember yourself in the past, you project the future and you get stuck there. But the thing is about being established in that powerful cognition of now. And if you cognize that people are fundamentally good, I feel there won't be any anxiety about the future. Because anxiety about the future is nothing but some kind of fear with that engagement of that perceived or self-generated delusion of duality. That's
for sure.
That's something I can relate to at some kind of experience I had with this. That much I can.
Well, I can even get I can kind of relate to that to this evening. So for those who just kind of came in and aren't sure why I'm looking the way I am, it's evening here in Los Angeles. It's Halloween evening, and so I dressed up as Shiva and painted myself blue. And I had this whole vision today of what the night would be like, and it didn't turn out to be that way. So I was projecting this concept of what, the evening would be like, and it didn't turn out to be like that at all. Actually, it was completely different, and it was exactly what Swamiji said tonight, that I truly, it was nice to experience the just meeting and hanging out with strangers and just seeing that people are fundamentally good. Like we constantly worry about why, or what people are thinking about us, for instance. A very common issue with a lot of people today. We're worrying about what people are thinking about us, going into certain situations, we're wondering what it's going to be like, and we're so lost in this moment, and we're projecting something into the future, and it turns out to be not that at all. But what Swamiji's saying is that when we're really like, his click he said was, our involvement makes life, our living makes the life. So being in the moment and spending that time living intensely, being in that space of action, like you don't need to worry about the future of what's going to happen, or the past is absolutely irrelevant. And I know that, we lived that lifestyle where you're so intensely in the moment. That's Kala. You're beyond time.
And this is where I start to understand, like, this is how we create karma for ourselves. When you miss the moment, when you're not in the now, when you're not in that listening of the now, you do not respond to life properly. And whatever response you did, because it is not perfectly in tune with that moment, because you're not fully there, everything that is not in tune with that moment becomes a hangover, which you kind of, it creates that karma, which comes back until you just drop that fear, that kind of fundamental fear of engaging, that anxiety about the future, and then you can just fully, like you said, you have that golden blanket and you just jump into that now, and that's it. There's nothing else, right? Everything shuts down, and it's just pure oneness with that moment, and just pure spontaneous response to life from the space of powerfulness that the confidence of jumping into the now gives.
And it's fearful for us to do that. Like, we kind of get a little bit,
but because I think our cognition of, we don't feel that at cognitive level that people are fundamentally good. And that's where I think Incompletions comes in the play, because parts of us are convinced that, you have to be careful about this, or you have to avoid that, or this is dangerous, or
that makes so much sense, because it's always, for me, it's like self-doubt in a sense, like,
yes,
am I good enough, or what are they going to think of me? But that self-doubt starts from me cognizing that this person that I'm going to interact with is either going to hold themselves higher than me and project themselves onto me, or carry themselves as if they're superior to me. In either way, it's that I'm not cognizing them as fundamentally good. And because I'm not cognizing people as fundamentally good, then I'm not able to shut down my brain. I'm constantly thinking and worrying and stressing about something that I just did and wishing I changed it, or an experience that I'm about to have. And what Swamiji says, the whole thing, other than your consciousness, like nothing should be active. So being now is a powerful cognition, to bring that back around. But the problem is, I think we need to establish ourselves in that. Like, it's so easy to talk about this. And
we have to constantly remember it.
Yeah.
So that we constantly make the decision of engaging with the now, and not, for instance, in my situation where I decided to project myself in the future, which was not a powerful decision at that moment.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's why he's tying into us. Everybody, again, I'm seeing some questions. People are like, can you please tell me why your face is blue? It is Halloween here. I dressed up as Power of Shiva. My wife Priscilla went as Parvati. Blessings. Staying on topic, though, I think because we have to continuously remind ourselves, when Swamiji said, at the very least, make your bedroom a Kailaasa, make it an enlightenment ecosystem. I mean, how many hours does the average person spend in their bedrooms? I think that's such a simple and like almost like a no-brainer to make your bedroom Kailaasa, where there's no arguments, there's no fighting,
that's what you have to drop everything from the world at the door of that bedroom. Once you enter inside, you're like in your forest. There's nothing that matters. Nothing, just you and sitting with yourself and just life.
Yeah. And of course, he was coming up, or he not coming up, but he stated a few other strategies, techniques, opportunities for us to experience Kailaasa in different ways. Yanatma, would you want to speak on either one of those, the Parirajika or Kayakalpa Yoga, or anything else that we just mentioned?
Yeah, so then, okay, so my understanding starts with the that now is not based in time, but now is powerful cognitions. And then Swamiji said that manifesting Kala happens in those three ways. So in a sense, it's like manifesting powerful cognitions is also like the same as manifesting Kala. And so, yeah, so it has to do then the making your bedroom as Kailaasa, that I understood is like means don't allow all the problems of the world and all the thoughts and powerlessness, just powerful cognitions, and like manifesting me as Paramashiva, me as Kala. So it seems to me that then that life must be powerful cognitions. Somehow life, because Kala is the dimension where everything happens simultaneously. So it's beyond the time and space. So it's like that is the higher reality. So, you can say that is like, I guess, the deeper truth of life. So that must be, that has to be powerful cognitions. So yeah, it means like powerless cognitions is not life. Any bit of powerlessness is not life. And so yeah, it has to do with experiencing powerful cognitions. And yeah, so those are three ways Swamiji mentioned for what I understand must be the way to manifest powerful cognitions.
And even beyond, like, not only powerlessness, he was saying, before you're even given powers, you have to have the understanding that human beings are fundamentally good. So you cannot have this, the expression of Paramashiva's Shaktis without the basic cognition that human beings are fundamentally good. That right away I see, like, that when you're sitting and because that's like an incompletion that's just sitting within you. Before you take any action, you're thinking about, oh, what's this person going to think? Or, oh, but what about what I did, in the past? That's already sitting within you. And so in order to express Paramashiva's powers, the powers that come from the space of oneness, that cannot happen if there's incompletion already with the beings out around you, the human beings around you, because you already don't feel that they're good. You feel that they're out to get you, or they're thinking bad things about you, etc. That gave me just a click now. Like, you're always carrying that incompletion unless you understand that human beings are fundamentally good.
I think also that is why for example, chanting the Mahavakya is important, because when you chant the Mahavakya, for instance, you don't get caught in that as easily. You kind of remain in that space now, while remembering that you are Paramashiva, so there's no duality, it's only oneness. So there's no fear towards it, no need to cherish any fear towards anything. You just engage and spontaneously respond to life from that powerfulness.
And so he was saying that our biology needs to change. So once our biology changes, we'll start believing that people are good.
Okay, can you guys share your understandings of biology, or what you cognize, or your experience of when Swamiji introduced biology a few days back? So I'd like to hear what you guys are cognizing about that.
For me, I cognize biology as the combination of, like, my biomemory, my bioenergy. So when I'm carrying certain incompletions about myself or others or life, that's stored somewhere within me. Those pains, those emotions are stored somewhere within me. And until I'm pulling out the roots of those and releasing them, completing them, then I'm not able to carry that space of Kailaasa ultimately and be in the now. You can, there's the master key, which is connecting to Swamiji, but on a day-to-day level, for instance, we're not like we're all working on continuously having that feeling connection and continuously chanting, doing a japa, etc., connecting to Swamiji, connecting to Paramashiva. But the reality is that we're all walking around with incompletions, and those are stored somewhere within us. And that, for me, is that's biology. That feeling of separation, that feeling of others judging, until that's really worked on and weeded out. And we do work on this through kriyas and yoga, just listening to satsang and all of the other techniques Swamiji gives. But at another level, there's cognitions that are stored within us that need to be pulled out. So that's what I'm cognizing as biology. And once that I'm able to clear out that type of biology, then I'll be able to start manifesting more and more powers and having more experience of Advaita and oneness with people.
What surprised me was that Swamiji was saying that even like Jettas is part of biology. What Jettas. Was the... Yeah, he was saying that even having Jettas affects your biology, right? Your nail, he was thinking, even going to the extent of like the physicality of like the straight up physicality of the body.
Yeah. So when you said visualize a golden blanket, put on your brain, I'm like, oh, it's kind of like my Jettas. They're a little bit golden, you know? It's easy visualization for me. But really though, like bringing on to this understanding that you're almost putting on like a big helmet, like a space helmet.
Golden.
The golden one. And just incorporating that visualization with Jettas on top of you. I mean, yeah, like as soon as he said it, or during the meditation, I don't know what, after satsang, I don't know if you guys did, but I visualized putting on a golden, it wasn't a helmet, but like just wrapping a golden blanket on top of me. And then it was just like, I just melted. And it was beautiful. My brain did shut down. Eventually I started experiencing more activism, but at the very beginning, it was shut down right away. It was a powerful visualization. And that, I mean, what did you guys incorporate that visualization at all?
Yeah. It's I did. It was, and it was very it was very helpful.
I also felt like I didn't visualize put it on top of my head. I just visualized like I wrapped myself totally like in a cocoon, kind of that golden blanket. And then the moment I kind of closed that blanket, my visualization went to the point of closing the blanket. I just kind of, it was just like everything stopped. And it was yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
One of the we jumped over this one quote that I had written down that Swamiji said tonight. It was like, but this ties in with biology. The idea you have about human beings will decide whether you're in Kailaasa or hell. And I was thinking about that. Like, I have a friend right now that's going through really difficult experiences or difficult time in life. And I keep thinking like they're living in a hell in a sense. And it's their own hell, their own making, their own mental setup. And I was thinking that, and then Swamiji said this line today, and I was like, oh my goodness, like, yeah, it ties ultimately to their belief of other human beings in some form or another, not wanting to engage in life in some form or another with others. With engaging with life, it means engaging with people. Ultimately, they're the greatest manifestation of life. And so if your idea about humans is not a positive one, or one where you don't want to engage with them, the more and more that you cherish that, the more you are going to be moving towards this hell state of mind. And so if you want to move towards heaven, like you hear, like heaven and hell are a state of mind, but if you want to move towards a heavenly state of mind, Swamiji said this evening, it all starts with believing that human beings are fundamentally good. Like just having this is such, honestly, I'm really getting this click that walking around.
Yes, go ahead.
Well, I'm just like when you walk around in public and you're engaging with individuals, for me at least, when I'm walking around with my bindi and my jettas tied up, and you know, depending on how many rudraksha I have on at the time, etc., I'm always slightly thinking about what other people are thinking of me. I still am going to do it, and I walk around and I do what I do. But I'm always slightly thinking, oh, I wonder what they're thinking right now. But then I'll carry on. But that thought always does rise. And so some part of me is coming from the space of, this person isn't a good person, so they're probably thinking bad things about me. And so in a sense, anytime that I'm worrying about what others are thinking, I'm in hell. But that would just change if I believed and had the cognition that he's a good person. He doesn't care what I look like. He's not worrying about what I look like. And that just Swamiji saying that today is giving me more and more of a that groove is developing. I feel like, because I'm already walking around good, but like the groove is starting to deepen. Sorry,
I did. No, I was just going to share that I did experience it. It happened actually many times in the past where I actually realized, like, actually, if people don't have, like, if they don't cognize their problems, automatically people are good. They always want to do good. It's just when they get caught in their problems and they get overwhelmed that then they can start to, I feel then I have to be careful. But if I remove this, this cognition of problem, I mean, it's true. I mean, people, if nobody wants to really harm somebody.
Yeah.
Like they don't, like really, really deep down, they don't. Maybe they feel forced to because of whatever incompletion they have. But if you remove that at the core, that decision is not there.
Yeah. The fundamental base of all human beings is they are a spiritual being. That's their core, their essence. And so unless they have really heavy patterns, they don't ever want to really cause harm to you or others. Especially the more as you awaken, the more you're not going to be surrounded by individuals like that. But yeah,
I think constantly cherishing this powerful cognition of now is important to attend to what you were referring earlier, where, for example, you walk outside and there's a part of you which is not experiencing the now and which is like projecting itself through. Actually, Swamiji said, well, regarding this projection that we do when we avoid the powerful cognition of now, it's just you looking at you through somebody else. Mm-hmm. It's like you entering into that body and then looking back at you and coming to your own conclusions about you. It's not what the person actually feels. It's not real. Like, you don't actually know what the person is actually experiencing when they see you.
Yeah.
We don't, unless they come and open up and that oneness starts to be experienced. But we feel, we look at ourselves through the eyes of others and come to our own conclusions about ourselves. And that is the hellish thing, where we're just stuck within us. And it's like you're just stuck in your own mental thing, and it's just a reflection. It's just a reflection of you. But when you enter into that now, you will not go to the other and come back towards you. You will just be there. And then, then the capacity to the space of spontaneous reaction will happen from not like reactive reaction, but spontaneous reaction to what is actually happening.
That's a good little meditation practice for somebody. So just take a moment to like meditate on who you are, which is ultimately you should come to the cognition that you are awareness, you're conscious awareness, a fragment of Shiva, fragment of the divine. And thus anybody that you look at is also that. And ultimately you're fundamentally good when you're in that space of just being consciously aware. And so when you can project that onto somebody else, like when I look at Ashutosa or Manana, and like I see that they are conscious awareness, they are me, and if I can dive into them and know that their same essence, that same space of awareness is just beauty and divine, and then try and function through that for a moment. Like when you're talking there just now, I literally try and imagine that you are me, and like I just look different now. And
there was a technique that Swamiji shared back then. He was saying, every time you see somebody, see them with a halo of light around them. They are enlightened. Everybody you meet is enlightened. He says you just constantly remember that and engage with that and do that.
Why enlightened?
Well, because when it's enlightened, there's no fear, in front of in front of enlightened being, they don't have any vested interest because they're enlightened. They have conquered their fear and greed. They're beyond fear and greed, so there's no need to worry about an enlightened being, because he will not do any form of harm towards you, right? He's the embodiment of compassion. So then there's no need to project. You can just simply be in that now.
I like that a lot. I never heard him say that, but I love that.
Actually, as part of, I did try it. He was saying you should do it for like 30 days in a row or something like that. But now that I'm reliving that, I realized that after 3-4 days, I forgot. And I stopped doing it.
That happens too often with a lot of, he's constantly telling us to do a technique, and I know the same thing. Mind kicks in. I just want to take a look at some of the comments. Thanks, Alan. You look great, bro. Nithyananda, what are your thoughts on the? Because I know the past few days you've been contemplating. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but tying all this together, Swamiji was talking about now human beings are fundamentally good, and then the essence of today's satsang was to either make your bedroom a Kailaasa, participate in Kaya Kappa Yoga, or go on the Parivrajaka. And I know you've been contemplating a little bit of that over the past few days. I just kind of want to know maybe how you see that tie in with people are fundamentally good. So obviously Swamiji said today that when you're, and he said this yesterday, but when you're going, you're going on Parivrajaka, you're walking the land of India, not only that, 2 other countries, but you have to rely on the people to take care of you. You're begging for your food. You have to have the cognition that people are fundamentally good. They will take care of me in my time of need, which is a very deep, intense, powerful way to develop that powerful cognition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just understand what I heard Swamiji say is that 10,000 times if people had left him alone, they could have left him alone, but they extended themselves to take care. So yeah, to me, it's just like, that's the powerless cognition, that somehow, you have to do something different, that life's not taking care. We didn't do anything to make this happen other than, getting enamored with delusion. So yeah, it's, my feeling about Parivrajaka is that's the thing is, you get it into your muscle. It's like, other than the enlightened body that gets manifested by an enlightened incarnation that's taking conscious birth, even them, that the understanding is like any body that gets manifest has some component of delusion, or even what we call as rajas. And so that's my understanding why the masters do the tapas, is to burn off the rajas. So that's like the biology has to be cleansed. So yeah, it's, it's about throwing yourself on what we perceive as the uncertainty of life, and realizing that, beyond our own incompletions and doubts, Cosmos has to take care. And that is, that's really only like the now is taking care of you, and the real powerfulness can only be experienced if you let go of everything else. Then we avoid feeling powerlessness, dependency. You really can let go of everything, and life, real, and experience that life is taking care of you. So that's the feeling. Like the Parivrajaka is the rite of passage, sort of, that everyone should go through to experience in your muscles. And anything that's not needed should be burnt away and taken away. that the cosmos is taking care of you, and to get into even the deeper layers of DNA, to manifest those powers, and make the powerful cognitions part of your biomemory, part of your biology. So it seems like that is what is needed for any body, is to burn away all the powerless biology, so that the powerful cognitions really, manifest as you. So the Parivrajaka, and my feeling is like, you go out there, you put your, to the extent that you cognize, you put your life on the line and experience that cosmos has to take care of you. But by definition, when you give up to say that, that I'll give up whatever, greeds or incompletions I have for what cosmos wants, cosmos, has to take care of you.
It's also, I think, for us, we have to experience that universe is a tatastu, right? Universe is a tatastu means that it fulfills what you need. It's a way to experience that as something like tangible, something real. When you need food, universe will send the person or the people for that to be simply provided. Because at the end of the day, that Sanskrit verse line where it says abhayam sarvabhutebhyo, right? So end of the day, it's just that pure space of non-violence. Universe is not, there's no violence. It's just fulfilling, everybody's, every being's desire simultaneously. But there's, I didn't just click, but yeah, that's what it is. And we have to trust that. We have to trust it. And Parivrajaka is a wonderful experience to experientially and physically experience that, right? That trust. And imbibe that cognition that people are fundamentally, because people are just an expression of life, right? So life is fundamentally good. People are fundamentally good.
God, that is, really though, what an experience to literally walk the length and breadth of India for 2 years with nothing with you, only with the cognition that people are good. They will help me.
And that there's no time, because in Parivrajaka there is no time, right? You're not bound by anything. Yeah. There's no form of any form of external pressure which would, make you cognize time. There's no such thing. You just simply exist.
Yeah. If you're out there and it's intriguing to you in any form, in any way, it's tempting.
Let us know.
I understand. Let us know. Your video's been circling for some time. I'm not sure if you're having technical difficulties on your end, but maybe can you still hear us, Mananda?
Yeah, I think I've been in on everything.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe we can. Is there a way you'd like to wrap this up on either? We've already touched base on. I actually don't know a ton about the Kaya Kalpa Yoga other than it's a 21-month process. Swamiji didn't really touch base on that in these past few satsangs. But when somebody is going to participate in Kaya Kalpa Yoga, my basic understanding is that they are in silence. Is that correct?
Yeah. It seems like, it's a little bit, as instructions come, it will be developed. But Swamiji has mentioned the Mauna, which is like inner silence, and a lot of chanting Mahavakya, and same thing, going beyond the limitations of food and sleep. And so it's a similar process of establishing yourself in that deep listening space.
Yeah, and it was yoga 3 times a day. So either way, whether it's Kaya Kappa yoga or Parivajaka, you're working on the body intensely.
You're physically. I know that the Kailaasa yoga, they were mentioning like engaging with cows, and so I don't know to what extent, but yeah, physically involved with life.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe to bring that back around, because at the beginning we started to talk about one of the basics of understanding now and getting beyond the hell of the future and the past for us is being intensely alive in this moment. And ultimately, any one of Swamiji's techniques is all about being intensely active in this moment.
Yeah, I feel that this whole concept of time is delusion. There's just a now, and we have to constantly entertain this powerful cognition, be established in the powerful cognition of now, and exist with with the cognition that people are fundamentally good. And just I think that cognition that people are fundamentally good is necessary for us to have the courage to hold on to the powerful cognition of now. And once you do that, then you simply exist and you radiate. Parama Shiva.
Yeah. I'm thinking that is just, I could beat that over and over again. The people are fundamentally good. Like I get that click. For me now, it's just reminding myself continuously. Obviously, us internalizing this. I feel like I've already gone to phase 4, the final 75 or final 100% of understanding this, which is to express it, live it, teach it.
Yes, share it.
And share it, to fully understand it. And for those of you who are wondering what I'm talking about, Swamiji was saying the other day, in Vedic civilization, the Guru Shishya, the how the disciple learns, they only get the first 25 from the Guru's teaching, 25%. The next 25% comes from meditating on it, followed by
Vahkyartha Sadhas.
Vakyartha Sadhas, debating, contemplating, raising to higher understandings, then meditating on this, and then actually teaching it. And I really do feel like I'm at that space where to fully grasp this, I just need to go on and teach and enrich. And I'm sure I'll do a video on this as well. People are fundamentally good. Because I know I still have that doubt, that self-doubt, or that, maybe a thought here and there, wondering what people think of me, but it's so irrelevant, but it is there. And so, and I'm not all the way there. I'm not at the 100% level, I know. So for me, I feel like this Vahkyartha Sadhas definitely helped, but I know also that I need to teach. I need to share this.
That's the power of enriching. That is something that I really clicked with enriching, which is when you constantly enrich, you constantly remember. That's the first step, and the second step is you dig deeper. You dig deeper within yourself until you find that core, and until that cognition roots itself into your core, or you just realize your consciousness.
And I don't know the exact quote, but Albert Einstein, he said, you don't really know something until you can teach it. It makes so much sense. With something especially like this, you're developing the neurocircuitry. The brain grooves are deepening when you're teaching something.
Ultimately, it's my understanding, and my what I understand is that ultimately it's Dakshinamurti, right? He doesn't teach; he radiates. Because you can't really teach Swamiji like words. How can you describe?
Yeah.
You can try, you can exhaust the mind through words so that you can just go into that space of now and experience the consciousness, but it turns into an experience. Yeah. End of the day, it becomes an experience which removes all questions, like we mentioned yesterday, right? And Swamiji also talked about it. So you can't really speak about it, but
yeah. And how many masters are like Ramana Maharishi, like he was a master that just you learned from his space.
Yeah, people were saying they just go in front and he just looks at them silently and they just get experience. And in the same way, Swamiji is just there and you just sit and just out of nowhere you get experience. You don't know how it comes, where it comes from.
Yeah.
It just happens.
Yeah. I think maybe we can just end it with there. That people are fundamentally good, and if you're at the same level or the same space as we are with this right now, share this. Share, like, it is such an empowering cognition in general for you to have, but furthermore for so many people out there. Like, how many people do you know that are, constantly worrying what other people are thinking about them, that are constantly doubting themselves, stressing because of the belief system that they have, which they don't cognize, and I didn't even cognize until today, but it is a core belief that I don't feel this person is nice or good. I'm not locked in, I'm not established in that. Because I'm not established in that, I'm living in a mental hell in a sense. And for me, I've gotten to a space where I know I just need to enrich and share this one basic cognition to live powerfully. And if you're kind of in the same space as me and a few others, then I would really highly recommend just go on enriching and sharing people, telling them that, hey, everybody else is fundamentally good. They're not out to get you. There isn't this big agenda against you. And I get it. I got the click with this one.
Yeah, it's very powerful.
Yeah. So maybe with that, we'll end it there. Ashutoshananda, would you mind leading us into the Purna Mantra again? And
sure, yes. Close your eyes. Bring your awareness to the third eye. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Bhagavat Shri Nithyananda Paramashiva Padukarpanamastu. Om Nithyanandam.
beautiful. Thank you very much.
Yes.
And for everybody else that joined in, thank you very much for tuning in. I didn't see many comments today that were specifically on the topic, but definitely do appreciate you showing up and engaging and being involved in these Vakyartha Sadhas. I know they are definitely empowering the three of us. That's where we're doing it. I mean, we're getting the experience. So hopefully you are as well. So thank you very much for being here and watching and taking the time to internalize these spiritual truths as well. With that, we'll close out this evening's session. To learn more, you can always check out the links in the descriptions down below, whether you want to see their channels or we have some Swamiji's content down there as well. And as always, thank you very much and be blissful. Nithyananda.
Nithyananda.
And we'll see you in future videos. Take care, everybody.